We are a month away from seeing The Amazing Spider-Man 2, so I thought, why not review the first one? It makes sense. Okay, so The Amazing Spider-Man. The Amazing Spider-Man is a reboot of the Sam Raimi's Spider-Mans back in the early 2000s. And instead of Tobey Maguire playing Spider-Man, we have upcomer Andrew Garfield to play the role. Now, I had no idea who Andrew Garfield was until The Amazing Spider-Man. And when I was going to see this, I was a little skeptical at first because I had no idea who the guy was. However, all doubts were laid to rest, and he is Spider-Man. And he totally fit the role because he didn't make Peter Parker seem like a complete nerd. He was actually a normal guy in this one. Now, this version of Spider-Man is basically the same Spider-Man back in 2002. So telling you how the plot goes, it's not really a spoiler. A gifted high school student who eventually gets powers, using them for his own benefits, goofing off, his uncle giving advice and him not listening to him, and his uncle eventually getting shot and killed, and thus making Peter Parker Spider-Man. Like I said, I like Andrew Garfield as Spider-Man, but it was also a little bit of changes from the original. Instead of Mary Jane Watson, we have Emma Stone playing Gwen Stacy as his love interest. Which was a shock because wasn't Gwen Stacy later on in the comics? I guess Marvel likes to mess with its own material every now and then, but this one actually worked. And this one, Gwen Stacy is also a gifted science student, just like Peter Parker. So I bought their love interest because since they're both science nerds and they hook up by just talking science, I really bought that. Alright, now let's talk about the villain. Instead of the Green Goblin being the main villain, they actually had this guy, I have no idea what his name is, to play the Lizard. Now the Lizard is a scientist with a shady past and also knows about Peter Parker. And once you go further into the movie, his story becomes more and more interesting. And I really like that because it just shows that it's not about the hero, it's also about the villain. Marvel jumping from character to character and explaining them in detail, they did a really good job on this one. Alright, so now how's the action in this movie? There wasn't a whole lot of action because it's an origin story and I can roll with that. They're setting up for the next one. And the whole point of an origin story is to explain a character and to show her powers. But not all of it though. You know, the little things, like character development. And Marvel did a really good job reintroducing the character of Spider-Man. And the main thing is what was nerdy 10 years ago isn't nerdy now. And yes, the movie is a typical high school kid who gets superpowers and saves the city. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing because I have a huge heart for superhero movies. And was it a rehash of the original? Yeah, but there is a couple original ideas put in there. It's definitely worth watching, so I give The Amazing Spider-Man a 4 out of 5. I'm actually really pumped for The Amazing Spider-Man 2 because I'm seeing more and more trailers of it and I'm just like, wow, I have to go see this movie. And I'm definitely going to be reviewing that one, so you guys should check it out. Anyway guys, I have to get going. Peace!